Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nibiru Channel. It is January 8th, 2017. The reason we're bringing you this update right now is we've received some information over the past 2 hours that there is an alert right now for the San Andreas Fault in the state of California. Now, we have put several phone calls in today to the USGS, and they have not returned any of our calls related to what is happening right now as we speak in the state of California. So let's get right to the information. We're going to bring up the 3D earthquake tracker, and what you're looking at on your screen right now is earthquake activity. Oh, we have an earthquake that just hit. 5.1. That looks to be right off of the coast of Africa on the Atlantic Ridge fault that runs straight up through the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Anyways, folks, getting back to this information, what you're looking at right now on your screen is the past 24 hours of earthquake activity across the globe. Now, as I have mentioned time and time again, this earthquake activity has been picking up in frequency and magnitude. There is absolutely no doubt that right now the earth is under a tremendous amount of stress. Now, leading directly into what is going on in the state of California, this is actually an emergency situation for anyone who lives in the state of California. Let's just get straight to the information. First off, we have a 48-hour loop of the sun and checking these coronal holes. Now, as you can see here, we are finally getting past this large monster of a coronal hole that's been affecting the earth over the past several days. We do have a smaller coronal hole that will be turning towards earth over the next several days. Now, what we were actually concerned about, if you look right over here on the left-hand side, the solar wind speed is up to 667.9 kilometers per second. That is equivalent to pretty close to about 1.5 million miles per hour. And that has actually gone up quite a bit over the past few days. It was calming down to about 450 kilometers per second, and now we see this increase. Now, looking into the actual weather situation, what's going on in the state of California? Now, we all know over the past few days, there has been this warning and this impending storm that is coming in off of the coast directly into the San Francisco area. This rain is a massive saturating rain. Now, even though the state of California was in a serious drought situation, now they're going to be inundated with all of this water over the next 3-day period. Now, this situation is going to stretch all the way from San Francisco all the way down to Los Angeles. Now, why are we worried about this? Well, they're talking about some very serious ice melt in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they just had record snowfalls. So now we're going to be looking at a situation with drenching rains, a lot of snow melt, and massive flooding. Now, what does this all have to do with San Andreas, the San Andreas Fault? Well, let's take a quick look. This right now is an up-to-date live earthquake map of the state of California. Now, if any of you know where the San Andreas Fault lies, it lies right along this line of all of these earthquakes, leading past San Francisco all the way down to Los Angeles and the border between California and Mexico. This is all up-to-date information, and these are not microquakes like Southern California is used to, the 1.5s, the 1.8s. Okay, these are getting a lot stronger. Right now, Upper Lake, California, magnitude 3.04. And these are increasing. They are swarming up and down the San Andreas Fault, or very close to the fault line. With all of this drenching rain coming in from the west to the east, impacting the coastline of California, and then all of the snow melt along the Sierra Nevada mountains, which will be melting westward into the middle of the state, we're looking at a catastrophic situation here, especially with all of these earthquakes appearing on the fault line, the San Andreas Fault. Now, let's just take another quick look at the European model for the earthquakes. Now, once again, you can see this completely straight line right on top of the San Andreas Fault. Now, moving further south into the west coast of Mexico, and again, we've been watching all of this in Mexico for the past month. A lot of the earthquakes were not being reported by the USGS for Mexico, even though that country is attached to our country geographically. They just didn't report it, but the information is very vital to what is happening. And as you can see, the amount of earthquakes in Mexico along their western border, this is very, very alarming. And these are not small quakes. These are all in the upper magnitude of 3s and 4s, and this has been going on for the past 2 months. And I keep talking about it, and I keep talking about it, and I don't know if what I'm saying is falling on deaf ears. But I'm telling you right now, if you live in the state of California, if you live anywhere from San Francisco to LA, I really hope that you have some type of preparedness plan. I really, really do. Over the next 48 to 72 hours, things are going to probably be very, very bleak in the state. And God forbid that we have a major earthquake because of all of these quakes along the San Andreas Fault. And this has been occurring over the past several days. Now, I've been checking news stations all across the state of California. And basically, they're talking about warnings of the potential flooding, the landslides, and the mudslides, but nobody is talking about what is actually happening on the San Andreas Fault line right now. And I just don't understand why they are not warning these people about what is happening on that fault. We all know that that is a very, very dangerous fault line through that state. And now, with the inundation of all of this water, the combination could be very deadly. Very deadly. So, if you have any relatives that live in California, or any of you subscribers, viewers, listeners that are living in the state of California between San Francisco and LA or San Diego, please heed this warning. Start looking at your earthquake maps. Start paying attention. Download the app on your phone. There are plenty of them out there that will give you some vital information. You can take it with you on your cell phone. But you can see that these earthquakes are swarming straight up and down the San Andreas Fault. Now, getting into our radiation levels, over the past couple of days, they've actually gone down a little bit, and we are, in a safe zone. I think the radiation levels are still a little high, and that is definitely coming from the large coronal holes that are in the sun and that we've been faced with over the past week and a half to 2 weeks. And once again, we have a small coronal hole that is going to be passing by, aligning with Earth, probably in the next 48 hours, maybe a little longer. And once again, that solar wind speed right here, 667.9 kilometers per second, about 1.5 million miles per hour. Now that will be impacting Earth. For how long, I don't know. We will keep looking at the information every single hour. But I wanted to bring this information to you as soon as possible because this is very, very vital. That is the San Andreas fault line. And the state of California right now is being impacted by the rain. And you can see on the current radar, this is San Francisco. And these rains have been coming in now for quite some time. I spoke with a friend of mine that lives in the south of Sacramento, just a little south of Sacramento, and they are telling me that there is some panic going on with the people that live in this region. They're very, very worried. There are emergency management teams out there. They are packing sandbags for the flooding. But folks, I'm telling you right now, I don't think the sandbags are going to do very much. When these walls of water start coming in, as you can see now, and we start getting the mudslides from the Sierra Nevadas, it's going to be a very, very critical situation. And once again, with the line of earthquakes all along the San Andreas Fault, I think we have a recipe for a major disaster. So stay tuned to the Nibiru Channel. Over the next 24 hours, we will have continuous updates on what is going on. And again, if you don't have any type of earthquake tracker, listen, there are great cell phone apps out there. Download one onto your phone, set it all up, and pay close attention to it. Get the notifications set up, and at least if something is occurring, you'll know, because it doesn't seem like mainstream media is covering this like they should. Now, I just want to go ahead over here, and I'm going to spin the Earth back to California here, and we're going to take a look at the state of California real quick. And I'm going to remove a lot of this so we can see what's happening there. Now, we'll remove all of the earthquakes up to the current hour. We're going to go ahead and refresh this. This is all coming from the USGS. We're going to go ahead and make these circles a lot smaller. And as you can see, we're going to just go ahead and go for the next 48 hours. You can see the state of California is getting inundated right along the San Andreas Fault. This has been happening for days. Now, this is the last 3.5 days. I think it's at a very critical state. I think anyone living in the state of California right now should be on high alert. So please stay tuned to the Nibiru Channel. We will be back soon with another update. And any of our viewers, our subscribers, anyone living in the California area that is going through this right now, we would like to hear from you. Drop us an email at NibiruPlanetX2016@gmail.com. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of you out there in the state of California. Let's just get straight to the information. First off, we have a 48-hour loop of the sun and checking these coronal holes. Now, as you can see here, we are finally getting past this large monster of a coronal hole that's been affecting the Earth over the past several days. We do have a smaller coronal hole that will be turning towards Earth over the next several days. Now, what we were actually concerned about turned any of our calls related to what is happening right now as we speak in the state of California. So let's get right to the information. We're going to bring up the 3D earthquake tracker. And what you're looking at on your screen right now is earthquake activity. Oh, we have an earthquake that just hit. 5.1. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nibiru Channel. It is January 8th, 2017. The reason we're bringing you this update right now is we've received some information over the past 2 hours that there is an alert right now for the San Andreas fault in the state of California. Now, we have put several phone calls in today to the USGS, and they have not returned. That looks to be right off of the coast of Africa on the Atlantic Ridge fault that runs straight up through the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Anyways, folks, getting back to this information, what you're looking at right now on your screen is the past 24 hours of earthquake activity across the globe. Now, as I have mentioned time and time again, this earthquake activity has been picking up in frequency and magnitude. There is absolutely no doubt that right now the Earth is under a tremendous amount of stress. Now, leading directly into what is going on in the state of California, this is actually an emergency situation for anyone who lives in the state of California.